hello and welcome to our 2012 Italian exotic shootout. Over here I've got the Aprilia RSV4 Factory APRC. That's one mouthful. Over there is the MV Agusta F4RR Corsacorta. Another mouthful. Tom, why don't you give us a quick rundown?
We got two high contender bikes and we brought them out here to Thunderhill Raceway to see which one of these high-end bikes will go fastest around a racetrack.
So the MV Agusta F4, man, it's a handful to ride. I mean, the power comes on very abruptly. It's got a lot of power, but it just comes on very abruptly. You gotta really try really hard to manage it. The Aprilia RSV4, what's not to love about this thing? It's just so easy to ride fast.
Something else, the fuel mapping on the bike. No matter what, roll into the throttle, you can feel a little bit of a stutter. There's not as near a smooth transition from an on-off, like, you know, going through the corner, you start to roll into it. The Aprilia just kind of picks up and works into the power nicely. The MV, not so much.
So starting at the front of the MV here, you've got these really massive Brembo brakes, 4-piston monoblock calipers, you have really strong braking power. You got the steel braided brake lines. So, I mean, overall, you get super stonking strong braking power. Then you've got these Öhlins forks that are top-notch, top of the line, top shelf stuff. Awesome job of damping, as you would expect from an Öhlins piece. Sitting inside this trellis frame here, you've got an inline 4-cylinder engine pumping out 172 horses. It's really strong, like we said before, but the power engagement is kind of off. I mean, the mapping seems like it needs some fine-tuning because the on-off throttle, especially at low speeds, is kind of abrupt and not very well thought out. So coming to the rear of the bike, you've got this Öhlins TTX rear shock, which is Öhlins top shelf production shock. On your left switchgear over here, you've got the main controls, the up or down to change your traction control settings. I'll save the actual demonstration, but you can just toggle back and forth between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 8, and even off just by going up through here on the left switchgear.
Aprilia RSV4 Factory APRC. This alphabet of nomenclature is the high end of what Aprilia has to offer when it comes to performance on two wheels. The nice thing about this guy, as far as his traction control, is it's adjustable on the fly with two little switches. Your index finger controls going down, your thumb controls going up. So if you have changing track conditions, maybe it starts getting a little misty out or something, you want to dial in a little bit more traction control, boom, you just put it in and it just adjusts on the fly. Like the MV, we got some pretty top shelf Öhlins components, suspension wise, up front and in the rear.
So we've just finished putting both these bikes through their paces around Thunderhill. And you know, these two machines are loaded with technology, front to rear. And I think it was clear to us which one was easier to ride, right, Tom?
The Aprilia is far more inviting. Both of us took a few laps to get up to speed on the MV.
It's hard to fault the mechanical components of either one of these, but to ride one quickly, the Aprilia is clearly the easier one to do so.
A big technology difference that, you know, we both noticed, obviously the Aprilia has a quick shifter, you know, the MV does not.
So a big component to both of these bikes is the traction control. And I think, Tom, you had a couple of moments where you really saw a difference between the two?
Yeah, absolutely, Troy. You know, we started off the day at level 6 and we brought traction control down throughout the day just to kind of test equally to see, you know, how abrupt it was, how it engaged. And I definitely noticed we did a few laps, got up to speed a little bit, switched bikes, got a little faster on the MV, and then I came back to this guy. And it's really strange. I mean, at a certain lean angle, it just would, no matter how much throttle I put in, it would not give it any power to the rear wheel. And then as you brought it up past a certain lean angle, all of a sudden it just engaged the power, and it was very disconcerting for a few laps. The MV, again, at the same higher level, I didn't notice this abrupt engagement. So, and not that everybody rides there, but it was a difference. And as we brought it down, of course, you know, the Aprilia did fine. I didn't notice it because, of course, it wasn't engaging as much. When it comes down to the game of exotics, I mean, if you want something that nobody else is going to have at bike night, the MV is the choice. The Aprilia is going to be a little bit more ordinary. Not that either of these two bikes are ordinary, but who are we to say? The MV is still gorgeous. It's just a little bit more expensive.